Hey, welcome back to another episode of Mortimer Woodworks. Now, in the last part of this, for my Father's Day present, was me making, or gluing up, should I say. The end bit of it was gluing up. I've come to show you the bit that I've done. It's all glued up nicely. I'm now going to mark out ready for the final size, and then a quick sand over, and we should be good. I'm going to sand quite a lot of this, and then I'm going to use the sanding dust, or the what's left over, the sawdust what's left over, to fill in a gap at the back. There's a nice line running all the way there. It didn't actually set properly, and the clamps left a little bit of metal on the clamps from the bar clamps, but that's not a problem. Next time I will remember to put a bit of masking tape on the bars, so when I do glue it doesn't stick to the bars and it sticks to the masking tape, and masking tape is a lot more easier to sand off than paint. Right, another thing today that I'm going to be doing, which is routering. Now, with routering, there are two different types, well, three types should I say, of different types of routering. There are, okay, four, let me just make four. There are hand routering, there is table router, there is big router, and then there is a hand router. Now, a hand router is, there's two different types. One is this bad boy, which is quite heavy, and I think I may have done a little bit of video on this. I will check through and have a look, just to double check. I like this, but it is quite heavy for what I need to do, and trying to see what you're trying to do sometimes becomes a bit of a ball ache. So a couple of a year ago, I think, when I was working quite a bit, I decided to spend some money on myself. I bought myself a hand router, which is smaller than that, a Makita one. The reviews look pretty good on it, so and then I forgot all about it. It came and it went up into the top bit up here, and I forgot all about it because I was doing coursework, working, and amongst other things. So, and then I finally found it yesterday, trying to figure out how I was going to do the Dremel bits here, whether I was going to use a Dremel with a plunger or my big router. I didn't really want to use my big router because it's okay and it works fine. I ain't got a problem with it, but it's a bit bulky for the fine bit of work I need to be doing on this piece. So I went and got the Makita, found it. As I say, and I was up on the top and I found it. So, oh, just grab this. Meet Makita, little one, baby router, hand router, pain in the ass router. No, I'm kidding, it's not. This is brilliant. It's got an adjustable here, it's got a guard here, it's got a pipe here for you to put the hose on to suck everything out, like all the sawdust and stuff. And it's got a micro bevel adjuster, which is brilliant. And if I unlock it, just slides right off, which is lovely. Put that there. Here we do in inches. Let me just get it right. In inches and in millimeters, which is good, because that means I can adjust it from just looking at it. So all I've got to do is just slide it on and it slides on. So we're going to go down to 0, and then I want to line it up to the end so we can flatten it out here. So I'll grab my set square, push that down to there, and I know when it's level it is at 5 mil, 5-6 mil, and we want to go down just first round about a mil, just so I can get the inlay out of where I'm going to be going. So I would say instead of being 5, let's make it 6. Yeah, let's make it 6 mil, and then lock it in. Now that is not going to go anywhere. It's solid. It's not going to do anything. But the good thing about this is it's wire. The wire is quite flexible, quite very well insulated. You're not going to have a problem with this wire. I mean, it's just versatile in any way. So kudos on Makita. They did pretty well on that one. I was looking at other ones, but this one took my eye, or took my fancy, should I say, at the time. As I say, it is quite a nice thing, and it's got an adjustable speed as well, so you can adjust it. I always start on 1. I had a little practice on a bit of wood earlier. I found that it's nice to start on 1, and 1 was ample to just, on pine is ample enough to go through, but this is hardwood, so I'm going to try it and lower it down, try it on 1, and if I find it's not going, I might up the speed a little bit, but I've got to be careful that I don't have blowout, so that means marking out where I'm going to be having the trays. So as soon as I've got the trays marked out, awesome, then I can start doing with this. So I'm going to put this back a second. What else? Stay. Let's see. Oh, while off camera yesterday, I thought what else I could do with this. So I've cut here, which I'm planning to route around with some other selective different shapes. Now on here is a nice, the offcut from this bit. So I glued it, clamped it, and I thought it needed something else just to give it a bit more stability, so it wouldn't break off, just in case my dad being heavy-handed. So I know I said I screwed them, but they should really be a little bit buried in a bit more, which I'll probably do later on, but the screws are in. So what I did with here is, as you can see, it's right up to the edge there. So I got my engineering square, or my set square, sorry, should I say? No, sorry, adjustable square. I will get it right, which is this bad boy, which is from Axminster. Very good tool. I'm loving it. I really am. The adjustable on here is brilliant. It's cast iron. It's solid. And it doesn't move as well. It's really tough, and this doesn't flex at all. There's a little bit of wiggle, but it's not going to move on you when you're trying to mark out stuff, which is good. So what I did is I lined this up to there, and then I drawed a line there, forward, slided this on a bit more, drawed a line, and then crossed where I thought it was going to be on there. And then with a very small drill bit, I began to use a pilot. So I piloted down, I did mark tape on this, a bit of masking tape, marked it there, and it worked fine, absolutely fine. And then drilled in that depth, and then hand screwed the rest. The reason why I say hand screw is because if you use a drill, you can't control how deep you're going to go, and you can't adjust for the speed either. Or an impact drill, don't use it, you'll crack the wood like anything. So that's out of the question completely. So a nice little drill like that, and then screw the screws in, hand screw, which is all good. And it turned out pretty well, I think. And if I lay it against what I'm going to be doing, that's the adjustable screw. So if I yep. So that is what it will look like. I'll give you a closer look. Let me just bring you closer. Okay. So the iPad would sit there, and then as you can see, it's, I'm not getting there, let me just put you to the other side. Right, so as you can see, it's nice and flush. I'm going to put these bits here will be gone. The reason why is I'm going to use these bits and do the angle on here and here. The reason is I can use it here to support the back of this. Not just will it be in here a little bit routed out, but I figured if I do it there, it will have a nice little look about it. As well as routering over these bits to here. Basically I'll route to here round and then around this bit, because I had a bit of blowout there cutting it and I need to address that problem. So that's one thing I've got to do with. Yeah. So, and as I've marked these already, which I'm going to router out as well. I figured if I mark it all the way along there and then cut these off, as you can see, cut these bits off here, both sides, I can use that as support for the back. So I'm not wasting anything. I've reused the bits that I've cut off, so I've not wasted any little bits whatsoever, because this wood is lovely and I don't want to waste it. So when you plan out a project, always look to how you can minimize wastage, because you never know when you're going to need that wood, or if you make a mistake, which does happen more than you think. It happens to the best of us, even me, and I'm not that good. Right, so I'm gonna get everything set up, and I'll be back in a mo, or in a second. Okay. Hey, welcome back. Right, so I've set up everything, I've marked everything. Well, I'll show you the markings now. So actually, no, I'll bring it to you, it'll be easier. Right, so basically, as you can see, let me just put it there, because then you can see more and it'll be easier. So don't know how to flip this around. There we go. Oh, I'll turn it around easier. Right, so if you can see, hopefully you can see, there's 14mm depth, that is 12mm, that's 10, and that's 3mm. The reason why I got 3mm is because I figured I could put a little chamfer on that one to allow it for that to lean back without no problems. So I thought that might work. So now to get this up right. So now I'm going to get a scrap bit of wood to be my tester, so I can have the depth properly done. So then I can just sink it in, do what I need to do. Just put you back over here. So you can probably hear the rain, by the way, at the moment. So it's not a problem. Let me just turn these off. Okay. So that's it marked up. I hope you can see it. Again, we've got it all marked up on there. Look good enough, doesn't it? You'll see it in a minute properly when it's all done. Right, so scrap bit of wood first. Always test your depth first on a bit of scrap wood before you actually do it on the main bit of wood, because you will regret it later. Right, so scrap. So, scrap bit of wood, router. I'm going to plug this bad boy in. Right, so let me just. Oh, the good thing about this is it stands on its own, so you don't have to hold it, wiggle it. It stands on its own. It's really good. Got my safety glasses on. Right, so we want it about 3mm, or is it 10mm first, isn't it? Right, so we've got to do it like slowly passes first. So I'm going to do it, see what the depth here is first. So this is 1.5 mil. That'll be good to start with. So 1.5 mil is always good to start with. So we're just going to test it here. So I'm keeping it on 1 first, and we're going to go away from me. So we'll do it that way. Nice sound, not too loud either. So we're going to see how quiet that was? Really quiet. So now I'm going to get my depth, see what we are properly at. 1.5 mil. So that's good. So that is going to outline what we're going to need here. Now I'm going to slowly drop that onto that. So I need to clamp this safely so it doesn't shoot out my hand. Now, obviously we're going to do this bit first, I think. So I'm going to put this down here a minute. Stand nicely. I'm going to get 2 bits of scrap wood, one here, and a little bit out, one here. I'm going to clamp either side of it because one, it will stop the bit of wood from moving. And it will stop me from marking my wood at 2. Right. Another thing that I must do, and I mean I must do, is I must cut and mark where I'm going to be going. The reason is, with a marking knife, is I need to break the fibres again. Because if I break the fibres, then I don't get blowout. So, my trusty adjustable square, as long as possible. So now, I'm going to line up where I need to. Marking knife on the edge, and then bring the ruler to it. Actually, do it this way. I'm going to turn the light on. You might be blinded, so I do apologise. Just so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. Nice and gently first. So I always do 3 times, plainly because it's easier if I do 3 times. Okay. As for this bit, I'm then going to adjust this so I can get to the end bit, so it saves me having to adjust more than I need. So what I'll do is I'll just put it to the end, there. So we're at the end. Tighten it so it doesn't move, and then I can just put this to here. So you can probably hear that because I'm cutting the fibres with my marking knife. Right, now we're ready to adjust. So again, I've done it to 10mm here, but I'm going to start with 1.5mm first and then slowly progress down, because I don't want to stress the blade, and it would be easier on this hardwood than doing it the other way. Okay, so wish me luck. Again, I'm on 1 at the moment. You'll be able to see. So you want to be able to see where you're going. Hence why I've got these on as well. Okay, yes, I should have a mask on, but I've got my door open, and there is quite a lot of ventilation in here at the moment. So I will turn this on. Remember to slowly come out. So what I've done there is, when I was coming out, I nicked on this wood, but this is the stuff that we're cutting off anyway, so it's not a problem. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and lower this down. I'm having trouble holding it because of the clamps, whereas if I was in a proper workshop, this would not be a problem. Really should have had a hoover, shouldn't I? Right. Can anybody tell me what I've done wrong? Okay, there is one thing I've done wrong. I've done this plenty of times, but there's something I actually have done wrong. I've come in at too far here, and I didn't put a line of angle in. So you're asking what an line of angle is. Well, basically, I should really have put a flat edge for me to run along with the router. Okay, so as you can see, this is a flat edge. Okay, this is milled quite a lot from college. So what I'm trying to do now is, now I have to readjust everything. Okay, so this clamp here, I'm going to have to, or this one, can I do it with this one? No, I can do it with this one. Is I'm going to have to undo this nicely. Look where I'm going to be. So we are going to be running this way. So I need to be looking where I'm going to be routering. Okay, so this is a bugger. Got to really plan this. Or in another way, you could not use the wood and use this, because then you'll know dimensions where you need to be. So again, I'll put this down. Right, so as you can see, that is, basically it's 50 mil. 50 mil. So, put this over here for a second. So I need 50 mil from this edge to the wood. Okay. Then I can clamp this. So I'm clamping my hardwood and the wood gauge as well. So now, when I run the router through, I've got a solid area to run through. So we're going to do it this way. So it's going to run. See? Runs in nicely. When it's not moving. Oh. Do you know I will be editing this bit? Right. Okay. So number one is actually working quite nicely. So I'm going to turn on number one again. Okay. Okay. See, that's much better now. So what I'm doing is I'm doing little bits at a time. Do you know what? Even though I've got the door open and air freshener, I think I'm going to use this as well, which I should be using, but yeah, it's been a bit of a bugger at the moment, whereas the battery's been working on and off. So, okay, I'm going to put this on. Oh, it's working today. Right, so here we go. Right, putting this upside down. Okay, so I've gone up to the line. I did go a little bit over, but that's not a problem because I can always sort that out. Okay, so I've done that bit. I now have to bring this a little bit more this way to one, so I know where I'm going to be, so the router doesn't do much in damage wise. So put that down there. Now I didn't tighten. Right, there we go. There's more. So now I'm going to clamp it again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp more further in and then adjust the clamp to be for the other bit. Okay, so that is square at, yep, 50. Right, so that works. So that's a good way of doing it. Again, helmet on. router ready to go. I'm going to run that along this wood again. Okay, so now I'm back. Sorry about that. Phone died on me, so I had to sort things out. I've routed down around about, I would say, around about 4 mil, 4 or 5 mil. Yeah, I would say 5 mil. I've routed down 5 mil. Let me just get the depth. Yeah, 5 mil. Which is good for the pen. Like that for the pen. It sits nicely in its little groove now. Lovely pen, thank you. Now I'm going to be leveling this all off, but I figured if I routed down first in the main bit of the wood, do like what I need it to be instead of going near the edges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do lines coming down to do what I need to do for leveling it all off. Okay, wish me luck. And obviously, after when I'm done, I will show you more of what I'm doing. Okay. Right, so as you can see, I need to remark what I'm doing, preferably because the mark lines have disappeared a little bit, so I'm having to remark again. It's always one of these bloody things. It happens quite a lot. I just want to double check, make sure I am online. Yep. Okay, that's that and that. Right, so as you can see, I'll show you in a second. I'm redoing the marking lines because I went over a little bit, preferably because the power of the router is quite powerful actually, considering it's on 1. I'm just thankful it is on 1, because it is. So yeah, but it will all look lovely soon, which I can't wait. Right, so let's do it again. I should really have a marking thing, shouldn't I? Oh, I know. Another tool that came with it. Right, because we've got an edge here, there's this lovely little edge tool, and that goes like that, and it adjusts to where you want the actual router to be. So if I do that, that's where it should be to there. So let's just, so that goes into there. Obviously that then hooks into there. Ha! Awesome. Maybe I should have used this one first time instead of actually having that bit of wood. Oh well, never mind. So what I do is I unscrew the little bit down here. I'll show you in a second. Slide it off. Wrong bit. And I'm going to be editing this like crazy. Okay, so basically this is your depth. Okay, this runs along against the wood. That screws it in, if you can see. Okay, and then I can adjust this bit to the depth of what I want. So I could technically go all the way up there with this depth thing. See how that does, but we're all good. So again, cool. Okay, hammer it on, and off we go again. Right. So, whew, that was a bit achy. Thing does weight a little bit on the neck, but once you've done this properly, it works. So I'm just now going to show you what I've done. I'll just blow it out of the way. Right, so I came in a little bit lower and I skipped the edge a bit, but I didn't on the bottom bit, which is good. To my knowledge, it is good. But what I will do is I will put this edge on this so I can get a more defined edge on this side. Yeah, it's going to be definitely a one to remember for the future. It works fine on one, so you know it is fine. You just got to make sure it doesn't kick out. Start it on one because it's a good speed to have on to do any routering whatsoever, and do it slow. Don't go through it, or you'll jam up the blade and everything. Right, I'm going to quickly show you, and then this is what I've done. As you can see, it's a bit of a mess at the moment. That's where my pen's going to be. Need to make it a bit more darker, or sorry, deeper. This one will be deeper as well, but at the moment it's I'm doing shallow cuts at the moment to solve that problem. Right, all good. I will catch up with you after when I've done this, and then you can know what I'm doing. So I'm back. Haha. Right, so I've done one of the trays bits for the change. Needs sanding, but it looks pretty good actually. So the pen holder's done, and the change bit is done, which I've cleaned up with a chisel. I've marked out the second one, which you can probably see there. That's one I've got to do next. So it's coming along quite nicely. It's a bit odd because you've got to get used to what you're doing with the router. So you've got to go round the edges and then do the middle bit. If you can't reach far the middle bit because it can't sinking down because the plate isn't wide enough, there are multiple tools and plates and different accessories for this router, which are pretty good. I can't wait to have a look. I might invest in a wider plate so I can increase the surface area of the router base. So that might actually help if I'm doing bigger holes or bigger gaps. Right, so I'm going to crack on with this, and then I will catch up with you guys